The Haunting of Waverly Hills Sanatorium, Louisville, Kentucky. Before we begin, take a moment to subscribe to Mystic America, your portal to the forgotten, the mysterious, and the haunted corners of the nation. Every story we tell is steeped in history, shadowed by secrets, and whispered by the ghosts of time. Today's journey takes us to a looming fortress on a hill, cloaked in ivy and silence, a place where more than 63,000 souls are said to have died, a place built to heal, that became a tomb. This is the story of Waverly Hills Sanatorium. The early 1900s were a time of great promise for America. The Industrial Revolution was booming, cities were growing, and new technologies were transforming everyday life. But just beneath that golden age shimmered a deadly shadow: tuberculosis. Known then as the White Plague, it ravaged the lungs and stole lives silently. There were no antibiotics, no vaccines, no real hope. In Louisville, Kentucky, the death toll rose so rapidly that city officials scrambled to isolate the infected. The humid air, stagnant water, and poor ventilation in the Ohio River Valley created the perfect breeding ground for the disease. The answer came in the form of a peaceful hilltop once owned by a man named Major Thomas H. Hayes. The spot was quiet, remote, and far above the choking air of the city. Here, they built a hospital to treat the sick. They named it Waverly Hills, after a little one-room schoolhouse that had once stood there, and a teacher who loved Sir Walter Scott novels. At first, it was just a wooden structure with 40 beds, but it wasn't nearly enough. By 1926, a new Waverly Hills rose from the ground, a massive 5-story brick institution with over 400 rooms. Built to house hundreds of patients at once, it was designed with long solariums and massive windows to let in light and fresh air. The only cure they believed could help. Doctors and nurses lived on site. Families were separated from loved ones, sometimes permanently. Treatments were painful, experimental, and desperate. Collapsing infected lungs to rest them, inserting balloons into chests to force breathing, removing ribs in a process called thoracoplasty. No anesthesia, no painkillers, just pain and hope. And yet, amidst the agony, Waverly Hills became a small city of its own, with a kitchen, laundry, classrooms, even a post office. For many patients, this place was their entire world, a world of quiet suffering and slow deaths. Death was constant at Waverly Hills. In some years, they lost dozens each week. But the staff worked hard to protect the surviving patients' spirits. They feared that seeing so much death would worsen the illness, so they built a tunnel, 525 feet long, descending the steep hillside through concrete and steel. It began as a supply chute, but soon it became something else: the body chute. Carts rolled silently down the shaft, each carrying a life now lost. Workers in gas masks moved silently through the tunnel, emerging into the forest with stretchers and coffins. It was a tunnel of mercy. It was a tunnel of death. And many say, it's still haunted by those who never truly left. By the 1940s, the world had changed. Scientists had discovered streptomycin, the first effective antibiotic against tuberculosis. It was a miracle. The death rate plummeted. The hospital emptied. In 1961, Waverly Hills closed as a TB sanatorium, but just 1 year later, it reopened under a new name: Woodhaven Geriatric Center. This time, it served the elderly, the mentally ill, and the forgotten. But Waverly's reputation did not improve. Patients were reportedly abused, neglected, left for days in filth. Funding was scarce, the building was crumbling, and staff were overwhelmed. In 1982, the state of Kentucky shut it down permanently, citing horrific conditions. And once again, Waverly Hills fell silent. Or so we thought. Today, Waverly Hills is considered one of the most haunted places in America. The stories began almost as soon as the doors were locked. Trespassers reported voices in the halls, doors slamming, whispers in the dark, and something else. Something watching. One of the most infamous locations is room 502 on the 5th floor. It's said that 2 nurses died there, one by suicide, the other by a mysterious fall from the window. Today, visitors claim to hear footsteps in the empty room, see shadow figures, and feel crushing sadness. Then there's Timmy, the ghost of a young boy who supposedly died in the sanatorium. Visitors leave him toys, and balls are said to roll on their own, as if someone, or something, is still playing. But the most terrifying entity is known only as the Creeper. Described as a dark, crawling shadow that moves along walls and ceilings, witnesses report overwhelming dread and nausea in its presence. No one knows what it is. Some believe it's not a ghost at all, but something much older, much darker. Paranormal experts like Ghost Adventures, Kindred Spirits, and Destination Fear have all investigated Waverly Hills. They've recorded voices, captured strange shadows, and experienced electrical disturbances. Some leave shaken. Others never return. Despite, or perhaps because of, its reputation, Waverly Hills is still standing. In fact, it's now open for tours, overnight investigations, and even Halloween events. The current owners have worked to preserve its history, while honoring the dead. Restoration is slow, but steady. Rooms are being cleaned, walls reinforced, memories rediscovered. Still, much of the building remains untouched. Paint peels from walls. Rusted beds sit in dark corners. Windows rattle in the breeze. And the spirits? Some say they are more active than ever, stirred by curious visitors, drawn to the living, or simply waiting. So what is Waverly Hills? A haunted house? A historical monument? A place of pain? Or a place of peace? Maybe it's all of those things. Or maybe it's a reminder that suffering leaves a mark, that history can echo through the walls, and that some doors, once opened, can never truly be closed. Thanks for joining us on Mystic America. If this story moved you, chilled you, or left you looking over your shoulder, hit that subscribe button and explore more tales from the haunted heart of the nation.